Hello and welcome to National Lampoon Live with Harrison Greenbaum. My name is Harrison Greenbaum. Thank you so much for tuning in to our 20th episode. 20 episodes. Who would have believed that when we kicked this thing off at the beginning of quarantine, we'd be that far into double digits. We are legally able to vote, almost able to drink, and 6 episodes away from renting a car. I don't know why that one is the hardest thing to get in this country. I feel like renting a car seems the least on the lowest level of priorities, but when it comes to voting and drinking. But nice to see you here. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have people tuning in from all across the country. Dylan Hillerman is watching. Rick Jenkins from the Comedy Studio in Boston is watching. So thank you guys so much. And we have a virtual audience from all across the country. We have Texas in the house, Houston, Texas. How's it going, Caitlin? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm great.
Good to see you. I see there's an orange thing. I think, is that a groundhog?
It's a Simba drawing, yeah. The drawing of Simba.
Simba?
Yeah.
From The Lion King?
Yes.
Nice. Were you old enough to have seen The Lion King in theaters?
Yes.
Okay. That was the first movie, one of the first movies I ever saw in a movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
Only downhill from there. The Lion King is an incredible film.
My heart just, so many tears.
You know what's crazy is every time I see that movie, I cry when Mufasa dies. Even when it's spoiler alerts, by the way. Could you imagine there was somebody watching this who didn't know that happened?
Mm-hmm.
I also once did a project where I tried to figure out how many. It turns out if you want to be the lead of a Disney movie, one of your parents has to be dead. And if a movie starts and you have both parents, watch out.
Good point. Good point. All right. Thanks for having me. Yes, can't wait.
Well, how far is New Braunfels, Texas, from Houston, Texas?
I'm not sure.
All right, well, we're going to find out because another virtual audience member is from there. How far are you from Houston, Tammy?
3 hours. 3-hour drive.
3 hours. There you go. That's I guess there's no Houston New Braunfels rivalry.
No.
I like how you've situated yourself in front of a United States map covering up where you're from. There's Texas. All right, nice. And last but certainly not least, Los Gatos, California. That is the Cats.
Yes, yeah. Cats. You know your Spanish, yeah.
There you go. That is elementary Spanish, but I appreciate it. Are there lots of cats there? How did the Cats get its name?
I'd say it's a normal amount of cats, but I mean everything in California is named Spanish, so I don't know. I never questioned it.
That's fair. Here's a question: is Los Gatos better a city than the Cats movie was a movie?
I would say that anything is better than the Cats movie. So yeah, it's a low bar. It's the lowest bar.
I would say there's some cities in Alabama that I would put beneath Cats. Caitlin was shaking her head. Did you see Cats in theaters?
I did. Don't do it. Don't do it.
One of the greatest experiences of my life. Tammy, have you seen this masterpiece of cinema?
I knew better. No, I didn't.
Oh, if you want to see Sir Ian McKellen, literally, Sir Ian McKellen, knighted by the Queen, lick milk like a cat and really just commit to the role of cat. That's the movie for you.
I'm going to pass.
You guys are in Texas and Colin, you're in California. The number of COVID cases going the wrong direction. Have you guys been going outside? Have you guys, how you doing?
It's super spooky, yeah.
Fair. All right, spooky. Caitlin?
Yeah, masks on all the time. Have a bubble around you, that 6-foot bubble.
You ever see that Jake Gyllenhaal movie, Bubble Boy? I feel like those would take off if those were for sale for real. Tammy, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I go outside a lot. We're a little more liberal around here.
Oh, well, it depends on your definition of liberal.
That's true.
But you have a fan in the audience. This might be the first time an audience member has bring their own fans. But Tabitha Cooksey saying hello to you. Do you know Tabitha?
I do. It's my twin sister.
Your twin sister?
She actually lives in California.
This is amazing. Well, I feel like the next episode, I'd like to reinvite you back with your twin sister and really blow some minds. We won't tell people that you have a twin sister. We'll just have people think that you can teleport during the episode.
That'd be fun.
I like it. We're brewing a magic trick. It's very exciting. Dylan Hillerman saying, depends on which cuts of Cats. I didn't know there were multiple cuts of Cats. I feel like any amount that makes that movie shorter is a mercy. Thank you guys so much for coming in. We will be checking in with you throughout this entire episode. Tabitha, by the way, tweeting an emoji that now I understand means twins.
Mm-hmm. That's the one she uses for us.
Emoji. I thought it was just two similar dancers, but now we know the origin story. Thank you guys so much for joining us. At the end of this episode, there is an audience Q&A where you get to ask us any one question that your heart desires. So start thinking about that now. Caitlin, Tammy, and Colin, we will see you guys shortly. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And as always, this show is raising funds and awareness for several great charities. Black Lives Matter, obviously a very important charity. And there are a lot of charities doing similar social justice work and helping so much. So we want you to go to nationallampoon.com/Black Lives Matter. And there's a list of charities and where you can donate. So that's pretty exciting. So make sure you do that and help out as much as you can. And of course, the COVID Foundation, covid.cm/National Lampoon. They've been doing incredible work getting PPE and medical equipment into the communities and areas that need it the most. You can go to covid.cm/National Lampoon. You can donate directly. It's tax write-off. So make sure you, if you have any extra cash lying around and you're not an unemployed comedian like I am, although I have donated. So if I can do it, you can do it. Go to covid.cm/National Lampoon and nationallampoon.com/Black Lives Matter. Two wonderful charities. And if you thought to yourself, wow, there was 2 episodes in a row with eel facts, there's no way he could find another eel fact, you would be mistaken. That's why this segment is called Eel Facts. That's right. It's a bit that to me gets funnier every time because there's just so much to learn about eels. Right, Colin?
I have to agree on the eel. Yeah, the eels are a mystery. Enlighten us.
Thank you. I couldn't have set that up better if I told you in advance what was going to happen. You didn't think when you signed into the show you'd be hearing about eels, did you?
Oh, no, I did. I've been watching. I was prepared for an eel fact.
All right. Well, here's a good eel fact, Colin. The eel fact is that eels in the Japanese aquarium are terrified of humans, but because they got to see humans so much, they learned to love the humans, and they would pop up and say hello. But because of the quarantine and the lack of visitors, they've had to use iPads and FaceTime or Skype in people from all over the world so that the eels could get used to human faces again. That's a real story. That's there it is. That's a picture of some eels just saying hello. That's how eels say hello. So yeah, eels not a big fan of humans, but when they get to know them, they love them. And I think that's the same thing about eels. How long will this bit keep going? I have no idea, but I bet at least a couple more episodes. Eel facts. See, there you go. Caitlin, you've learned so much about eels. More than you ever thought you would.
No, but I like sushi, so adds on to my awareness of that.
Are eels now your favorite animal?
Still no.
All right, I'm going to keep working on it until it's everybody's favorite animal. They're mysterious. We don't even know where they come from. That's another eel fact.
Right on.
I like it. There's a thing called a rake bit with a K, a rake bit. And that's when a joke gets funnier and then it stops being funny, but then it starts being funny again because you do it so much. We're going to come out of that curve. There you go. Comedy lesson. This show's already off the rails and we haven't even officially started it. Guys, I am so excited to bring our comedy panel together. They are comedians from all across the country and some of the funniest comedians, truly some of the funniest comedians out there. This first guest had a monster set on Colbert, so you might have seen her on Late Night. She is super, super funny, and she has wonderful plant life. Make some noise. Get excited for Carmen Lagala, everybody. Give it up for her. Hello.
Hi. Oh, my gosh. I thought you were going to, when you talked about eels, I thought you were going to bring up the vampire eels that were just in the news.
Wait, this is an eel fact I don't know. Tell me about the vampire eels.
Oh, well, I mean, 2020, it's got all the combinations of words and creatures. Vampire eels just popped up in, I think, that lake in Vermont where I'm from. And I guess they're not dangerous and they're not trying to eat you, but they're got these big, like, round sucker mouths with tons of teeth in them. And I mean, I'm not scared of them, but they look pretty.
You and I would call that bonus eel fact. Who knew that I get to use that graphic twice tonight? Not me. Eels are amazing. But how have you been doing? I haven't seen you since the beginning of quarantine. One of my favorite comics, but what have you been up to?
Oh gosh, I've been in my home the whole time and petting my cat, doing a lot of puzzles, and I put them together. And then I realized, if you have puzzles, they're all of like homes I can't afford. I just realized.
You just get slowly sadder as you put them together.
It's like this weird, awful irony where I'm like the final piece of the waterfront property. God damn it.
I like how when it's like a quarter full, you're like, I can afford that house.
Yeah.
But like halfway through, you're like, oh no, this looks like a 3-floor house. Do you ever glue them together? Have you ever been tempted a puzzle so hard that you wanted to frame it?
God, no. I don't know who those people are. I've seen them out on the streets though. People put out their free puzzle pictures that are framed, and I'm like, no one wants that. No one.
And is the plant behind you real or is that decoration?
It's real.
Wow, you're a plant mom.
It's growing like crazy. Yeah, I've killed everything until quarantine. I think it's because I'm watering them for the first time.
What do they need? A little sunlight, a little water.
Yeah, they need water to live. I just get so bored. I water them on time. It's amazing.
2 things comedians get very little of.
Yeah.
They're like they're very much the opposite of comedians. They need very little attention and just some water and sunlight. We need a lot of attention, and sunlight and water is honestly optional.
I'm dehydrated all the time.
That's right. Anything else you've been doing to stay occupied? Have you done a quarantine haircut, or are you letting it all out?
No, it's just going. I had a Groupon for a haircut that they extended it until October, so we'll see if I might go in at some point. But I kind of like as long. I had it buzzed for a long time, and then this is it growing out. I kind of dig it.
I like it. It's very nice.
Thank you.
I'm scared by any kind of a service like a haircut that's on a Groupon.
Oh yeah, mostly bad. I don't know why I keep going back.
I mean, it's okay. Like if you get some cookies on a Groupon, maybe a theater ticket. But yeah, anything involving sharp objects, I am going to pay full price.
Oh yeah. Do
you ever get the free student haircuts though? I did that a bunch when I was a starving comedian. I would let them just test their skills.
Yeah. I've done that with dentistry. I've also done a Groupon for dentistry. So really done. I've done student and Groupon for dentistry. Both are questionable. I actually like the student one because she spent like 6 hours on my teeth, told me everything.
6 hours in one sitting?
It was a lot. She had to be taught, but it was free, and I learned every possible thing about my teeth, including things I'm apparently not supposed to know because she could get sued for them if she were a real practitioner.
Oh, so she treated things that she was not qualified for.
It was more that she gave me information that was not. She was like, I think one of them was, I bite the insides of my cheeks, which is super weird. It's maybe just like an OCD kind of a thing. And she told me, she's like, I see that you're doing that. That can cause cancer. And then the person who was watching over, I don't know, was there for the dentist stuff to tell her if she's doing dentistry good. I'm a comic, as you could. I don't know anything.
You're a dental coach.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, don't tell them that. You're not supposed to tell them that."
Yeah, that's bad bedside manner. You know that really innocent habit that you have? Cancer.
Yeah.
Like biting your nails. Do you want to still have your hands? It feels like that.
Exactly.
Oh man, well we have 2 more great comics to add to the panel. Coming not so far away. Was in Philadelphia, now back in New York, in Brooklyn. So might be a neighbor. We got Anthony Moore. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. I can't complain. Just trying to make the most of the situation.
Who is in that picture behind you?
Oh, that's my little sister. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. So I went home I went home for her. Like she was just missing me a lot, and been wanting me to come home. So went home, visit the family, got a little break. Felt good to get out the city. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel I never left the city, but there was the first week of quarantine. I was definitely in that like survival zombie mode where it's like, we got to get out now. We got to get a cabin. We got to isolate. I'll learn how to hunt. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's how it was. Like, I say the first month of this, it was like literally just going out only for groceries, and that's it. Like I was scared to go out, and then after a while, like I just started gaining so much weight just from eating. I think over this period, I gained about 12 pounds. So
wow.
Yeah, so I was like, no, I gotta start running again. Like I had yeah. So yeah, that's all I've been doing. Just running. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Andy Mann said Anthony Moore is my favorite, but he also said, give me Colin. That guy has no loyalty. There's some Colin for you. He looks like he could be in a CW show about vampires.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, teen.
Absolutely. I feel like you have a dark secret. We have two Texans, by the way, which we're going to get to because we are going to talk about Texas tonight. But let's bring in our final comedian. She is fantastically funny. She's a regular at the Comedy Cellar. I first met her in Washington, D.C., but now she's in New York. Make some noise. Get excited for Brittany Kearney, everybody. How you doing?
Hello. Hi.
How's it
I'm
going?
fine.
If you want to turn your phone
Everyone.
sideways, we can see. We can go to the widescreen if that's okay.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. There we go.
Wait,
Extra
here we
Brittany.
go. Okay. I'm going to elevate this on a platform. Great seeing you guys. Hello, everyone.
Is that an empty shelf behind you, or are those like? Is that for a cat?
Oh, what if it was for me, like my Pilates? No, it's for a cat. It's for a cat. It's for my cat, and not just any cat, I guess. Yeah. I had some task helper like help me orchestrate a cat wall. You know.
Does the cat use the wall? I've never seen a cat use a wall. It fascinates me.
But I got to tell you, like, so Anthony, you're in Philly and you're back now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like in the main line, like outside of Philly. Where in Philly are you from?
I'm from West Philly, so like
cool.
not too far from the main line.
Yeah. So.
How far from where Will Smith's character in Fresh Prince was?
Oh,
yes.
where I'm from, literally like I'm from that same neighborhood. Actually, I went to his grade school for a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, and my
Are you
dad.
serious?
Yeah, and my dad works at the high school he used to go to.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
No way.
So you were like one little fight away from moving to Bel Air. So close. You just needed a couple of guys who were up to no good, causing trouble in your neighborhood.
Yeah, so anyway, I brought my cat to Philadelphia and now she's back. And I think she's scared of the cat wall that she knew so well. But 3 months away, like, was that? So anyway, yeah, that's a cat wall. How are you guys?
You know, I did a drive-in comedy show where they honked instead of laughter, so that means you're killing.
Wait,
That's
is
what
that
honk
what it was?
means.
Are you serious? Where was the show?
In Queens, in a parking lot in Queens. I'll give you the booking details. You should do the show. It's very fun. They put 3 human people in chairs, and then they were very far away. And then behind them, everybody's in cars, and they would honk or flash their windshield or blink their headlights. And that was the show.
How did that feel?
Honestly, after 3 months of not doing comedy, it was great. I will take literally anything.
Yeah, I hear that.
It was awesome. But what is the name of your cat? I want to compare your cat's name to Carmen's cat because you guys both have cats.
Yeah,
Well, here's the fucking thing. Her name is Carmen.
Oh no, Carmen, if your cat is named Brittany, the circle is complete.
I can rename my cat at any time. She doesn't give a shit. She's a cat. My cat's name is Brittany.
Yeah, there's no
Actually,
paperwork.
my favorite thing about cats is that you can be like, you're a cat, but they like don't know they're a cat. Like they don't even know the name of their species. Yeah, my name is Cat. My name's
Carmen the cat.
my cat's name is Karen for a long and complicated, historically problematic reason. Should I? I don't know if I should go into it or no.
I think my interest has been piqued.
All right, I'm gonna try to keep it sweet and tight. Okay, so when I got this cat, what's the year? 2020. I got here in 2013. Okay, and I was in graduate school for history. My roommate and I adopted 2 kittens. Okay, my cat is all black. The Spanish colonists of the 16th and 15th centuries. Anyway, they colonized the New World in their own way. About 100 years later, French, Dutch, and English colonizers described the Spanish experience as the Black Legend because they were like, oh, like we're doing it in a humane way. The Spanish were brutal. Like the Spanish were the Black Legend because they were like satanic in the way that they did their colonial settling, but as opposed to us, like we're doing it well. So don't cancel me. So because she's all black, I was like, I called her initially Cortez after Hernan Cortez, who was a Spanish conquistador who did horrible things in what's now Mexico. But okay, so then the vet was like, no, the vet told me that like she was a boy, but then reverse. Shelter was she's a boy, vet was like she's a girl, and I was like, oh, conveniently I can also rename her from something sort of historically troubling. So her name is Carmen, which is another hard C, name that's like sort of Spanish language adjacent. And the other detail is my roommate had a gray kitten, and we called her Dixie after the Confederate uniform. But now I
was going to make a joke about that, being like, oh yeah, our president thinks it's okay to name bases after Confederate generals. At least you didn't do that. But you had a cat named Dixie.
We literally did that, actually.
It's cool. I have a gerbil named Mengele.
Yeah, but like maybe it's cool because she's white, but like I'm the one that had the idea, which is also another conversation. But like I was working at a Civil War museum. Like anyway, that cat's name is still Dixie. The Dixie Chicks just dropped Dixie.
That's right. They're the Chicks now. That's literally what they're called, is the Chicks.
Wow.
So anyway, that's why my cat's name is Carmen. Hey, Carmen.
Carmen. Now, Carmen the human beat that story.
Yeah.
What is your cat?
Similar but different. I named my cat Larry Bird after the basketball player Larry Bird.
That's a very different type of story.
I have no interest in pet story. Like I feel like I need to go find it.
Anthony?
I mean, I have one, but now after that story, I feel like I need to get like a Robert E. Lee dog or something.
You have a dog? Is that your pet?
No, I have a cat, but my cat name is just.
Oh my God, this is cats all across the board.
What's your cat's name?
Kiss.
Huh?
Like my cat name is Kiss, just Kiss. Like that's it. Just
After
Kiss.
the band or the verb?
That's sweet.
The verb, like that's what like he just licks and kisses people a lot. So like
that's how you do an adorable cat name. What's
Yeah.
my cat Kiss? Because he gives me cat kisses.
Ah.
yeah. But
I had
now-
a hedgehog named Magic because I was a loser. I was like, I love doing magic. I'm gonna name this hedgehog Magic. Everybody called it Sonic anyway.
Wait, Harrison, did you like do magic?
I still do.
Oh,
Yeah. I kept it a secret for years though. It was the way like when sometimes a preschool teacher does burlesque. Like I kept it. It was like my burlesque career. I had a duffel bag in the closet full of pasties I told no one about. People would be like, I'd be like, what magic? And then I would smoke bomb, and then I would become.
It was your second life. It was your second family.
That's right. Exactly. A different set of friends. They were never allowed to meet. I was always on business trips.
Right.
That's amazing. Well, let's kick it off into the topics of the week. New York, we have all four of us are in New York now.
Yes.
So we're in phase
Oh my
2. Have you done any phase 2 activities? Have you gone out to a restaurant or gone to the barber?
Nah, I'm waiting to go to the barber, but other than that, I know like looking at the numbers, like looking at Florida, and just seeing how people are in my neighborhood, I know it's going to shut down again soon. Like this shit is bad.
The good news, though, is here's a graph of the tri-state area. We've done a very good job. That's a very good-looking line. It's a sexy line. This is the country's line. Less sexy. In many ways, the exact opposite. And if you're like, maybe that line's not so bad, that's United States versus all the other countries. Our line, significantly more erect.
Yep.
I did like an outside. I have to confess, I did like a what do you call it? Like a outside, like a street bar thing where they like.
It's like Bourbon Street out there. It's like fucking New Orleans.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like my friend was like, it feels sort of European. Not that I really know, but it's just like you're like, you're in the street and there's like trash trucks and stuff going by you, but it's kind of like you miss it. You're like immersed in the commotion of Bushwick, and it was nice. It was nice to have a semblance of nightlife.
Carmen, have you done anything phase 2-ish?
I have been telling people we've been on phase 2 for a few weeks now.
Just rubbing it in.
Yeah, I thought we were already in it, and nothing changed for me. I don't think anything really changed in my neighborhood, so yeah. I was like, I think we're already on
Wait,
it.
Carmen, we
We're
live
there.
close to each other. I
Huh?
don't think anything has changed. And Carmen and I don't live that far from each other.
Yeah.
And I don't think anything has changed in our immediate vicinity.
No, not that I've seen. Everything's
It's pretty quiet.
Yeah.
It's pretty like.
Are you guys getting hit with the fireworks?
It's loud.
Yeah, a lot of fireworks.
Do you guys have any theories where they come from? I have many conspiracy theories about what the origin of these weird, how there's so many fireworks every day.
What do you think it is?
I have a feeling, I feel like they're just not, there used to be law enforcement that would prevent the fireworks, that if you tried to launch that many fireworks, they would shut it down. People called noise complaints, they would shut it down. And I think things have gotten very lax. So it's increasing. And also, I think people are very bored. But maybe there's people who aren't doing their July 4th shows, so they're just like dumping their fireworks. And people are like, I'm going to launch these.
That makes sense. I do also think like.
Or people are just very upset you named your cat Carmen and they're just trying to torture her to
They're
death.
trying to cancel me. It's okay. I mean, I hear it, but also like I have some, I think maybe like I have some, what's the word? Not leg up, but some kind of, anyway, okay. Like, there's a lot of fireworks on my street, and I feel so like actually yesterday I didn't go to a bodega because I was like, I don't feel like getting caught in this. Like it hurts my ears, and my cat Carmen is alarmed by the fireworks sounds. But also I think like, yeah, I don't know. People are also just drinking in the streets, so maybe just for a few important reasons. Obviously, police presence is more lax, like regarding those kinds of recreational things. I don't know. That makes sense.
And did you guys hear what Mayor de Blasio's plan is for July 4th?
Right, yeah. A fireworks show like every day, right?
Yeah, he's going to do one fireworks show per borough, so 5 different shows. They're 5 minutes in length, and they're going to start around this Saturday and go till July 4th. He won't announce what time, where, or when. They're just like surprise fireworks so that there isn't a crowd. But doesn't that sound exactly like the problem that we have right now?
Yeah, there's like, exactly. It's like people start them before it turns dark.
Carmen, have you ever shot a firework?
I've seen a couple. Most of them are just sounds, though. I don't know if that's a kind of firework you can get, or if that's like a shitty firework and you're finding out that you got screwed over in the moment. I just heard that they were on sale. That makes sense to me as well as a theory, just that people are like, sweet, they're 75% off. Yeah. Anybody with cars can go get them. Yeah.
I mean, I would say I'm such a fancy when it comes to anything like that. I had like sparklers when I was a kid, and I would like run around like, I can't damage these hands. These are magic hands. Mostly my experience was terror for my magic career.
Yeah, that
reminds me. Sorry.
A memory just popped into my head that I used to buy these fireworks that their only job was to scream. They were called the Screamers, and I would go to my friends' houses and light them on fire, and then they would just, their parents would call my parents because they knew that it was probably me. But yeah, that was their whole job, was to be very annoying.
Just like have a blood-curdling shrill
color.
Did they name those fireworks after my ex-girlfriend? God, I hated that joke as I said it. I felt like I was obligated to. I didn't feel good. Her cat's named Carmen. Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm so
no,
sorry.
go for it.
I really have nothing of note to contribute other than, I feel like as a kid, like holding sparklers, I think I was like scared. I thought I was going to burn my hands off. And I don't know if I'm over that fear, but I guess I can just try to get over it with some neighborhood kids now.
That's who's going to solve it, is a bunch of neighborhood kids with a dog in a van. It's a Scooby-Doo joke, guys. All right. It's been a long quarantine. New York is doing great. We're the curve is bending down. Things are opening up. Other states, not so much. We have Texas is starting to slow down its reopening. Florida has banned alcohol. That's the only change right now. They're still just as open. You can still go to Universal Studios if you want. They had 9,000 reported cases today. We have more cases of coronavirus now than when this whole thing started. Does it feel a little bit like sweet revenge? Because New York was the hot spot, and they were banning us from traveling anywhere. And now Cuomo has literally reversed it. And his quote was, when he was asked about these other states, was, let's find it. That essentially, there we go. You played politics with the virus and you lost.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about these southern and western states coming to where New York was months ago?
I'm not surprised at all. Just especially like just from watching the videos of like the comedy shows. That's kind of how I've been keeping track of it. Like which states can we perform in? And just watching them all down south in these small clubs with no mask on, I knew it was bound to spread.
Yeah, I was watching with a sense of jealousy and dread as I saw comics headlining clubs in Texas and Nashville and Florida. I know in Texas there were some refunds being offered for some upcoming dates at the Improv, so that seemed like a sign. But Zanies had DL Hughley pass out during the show, test positive for COVID, and they only missed one weekend. It was for Rob Schneider, and it all feels like an excuse just to not book Rob Schneider. How do you feel about that? Have you guys ever worked with Rob Schneider?
Have you? I feel like I have a fantasy of what it would be, what the experience would be socially. Have you?
The closest I came to working with Rob Schneider was there was a roast at the Friars Club, and he killed it. I think he might have had the strongest set, and it was one. I don't know if I felt bad for misjudging Rob Schneider, but I will tell you when I was in Kazakhstan. I was the first American comedian, I think maybe the first stand-up comedian that they'd ever seen in Kazakhstan. Because why would you go there? It is a beautiful country, but very far. And I asked them what comedy they like, just so I got a gauge. And truly, their favorite movie was Deuce Bigalow. Rob Schneider is the favorite American comedian of Kazakhstan. I don't know if that tells you all you need to know about Rob Schneider, but Kazakhstan loves this shit about. They love him. They just love him.
He's a jack of all trades, truly, as evidenced in all his roles. Like he embodies so many different cultures, ethnicities. So wait, what's my question? Oh wait, Florida. I have a question though.
Yeah.
Florida banned alcohol. What? They're having it a prohibition.
Well, not a prohibition. It's not. It's alcohol consumption in bars and restaurants is being essentially curtailed. So you can still buy alcohol and get drunk in your house. But evidently, if you're not drunk in a bar, you'll keep your mask on.
Is that really? So you can order in these establishments, you can order food or soft drinks, but they're capping it at alcohol.
I believe so. Yeah, it sounds like I would say a Band-Aid on a giant gaping wound, but it sounds just like your mom kissing it while you bleed out to death.
Right.
Have you guys noticed, do you still have friends on Facebook that are anti-mask?
I don't, but I know that exists.
Yeah. Not anti-mask, but I have a lot of friends that are still having big parties.
How big are we talking? 10 people? 100 people?
No, I've been seeing people at huge cookouts with groups of 30 or more just out. And I'm or even I saw one person had a graduation. They had a graduation and a family, they did a drive-by to come take pictures of them. But literally every car stopped and got out and took pictures with the graduate. And and
no.
And it was I thought the whole point of this was to be safe.
That's right. I'm sure we've all been at family gatherings where we're we could lose a few and not that. This is the time to have those Thanksgivings. All the annoying people you didn't want to talk to at Thanksgiving, invite them to this Thanksgiving.
Right.
This is the one. We're young. We'll make it. I actually tweeted this out today as one of my most shared Facebook posts. I don't know why, but I was getting really annoyed with all of the Karen. I assume all of their names were Karen. I think, there's a school of fish. I think a group of Karens would be called an oppression of Karens. But all these Karens were testifying essentially that they couldn't breathe in their mask, that it allowed their carbon dioxide, and that is not scientifically accurate. So my post was, for those idiots who think masks prevent them from breathing, a carbon dioxide molecule is 232 picometers, and a coronavirus is 120,000. So if CO2 is a golf ball, coronavirus is a fucking blue whale. So if you think a net designed to catch whales won't let those little golf balls out, then you've never been to a private party at the American Museum of Natural History. Did I spend a lot of time on that Photoshop? Yes. Was it probably too much? Absolutely. Does that net look like a realistic net? Yes, I did it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's bring in Texas, by the way, because we are talking about Texas. It's only fair. Texas, how are you guys approaching this? I know the numbers are getting crazy. Have you been watching? How have you felt about it?
Well, the smaller towns, people get away with the no mask thing more because there aren't as many people to bump into. But today the governor reissued closing down bars. So there's been a real uproar in my Facebook groups about that.
Oh.
What are these Facebook groups? I want to know the names.
Well, I have a lot of friends that are comedians. So just like you guys, they make their money at bars. So now they're like out of work again.
Oh, were they performing at the bars? Were there bar shows?
Yeah, like different bar shows and open mics and that kind of stuff.
Wow.
I used to say I would kill to get some stage time, but that would literally be killing to get stage time.
And there's a lot of people doing like private parties now, so they can still do their comedy, like in garages and backyards and that kind of stuff.
Oh, really?
I've heard there's some Brooklyn rooftops. Carmen and Brittany, would you do a Brooklyn rooftop? Anthony?
I don't
know.
know.
No, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
Almost partially because I feel like I don't even know what I would do.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like I've been out of touch.
Yeah, because like throughout this whole thing, I thought I was going to have to come back with like Corona jokes, but it's like now I feel like I'm gonna have to just step on stage and be an activist. Like this is
so funny.
like everything just like shifted totally. So I don't even know what I would talk about right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been a good moment in comedy in which, first of all, people like Chris D'Elia, Joey Coco Diaz, those have been called out for cancellation. And then that seemed to set up a broader conversation about women in comedy. And it feels late. It feels like this is a conversation that should have happened years ago. But it's not for me to mansplain how hard it has been to be a woman in comedy. Brittany and Carmen, how have you felt about this cultural moment, and how can allies better help? This is a very big question.
I'm gonna let Brittany. Yeah, sorry.
What did you say, Carmen?
We can also talk about
that. Brittany.
Oh, I feel like it's like, okay, back to this. Okay, there's like a lot I feel like to process where it's like, yes, and I understand also Anthony's point about just kind of trying to make sense of what to talk about comedically, where you're like, okay, everybody's sort of in these different shelter-in-place pockets. Like, what do you joke about? Like being with your family or just like being in your own home, and then it's like, okay, racialized civil unrest, and then unity and how that plays out, and also like dissent and like civil war, and then it's like, and Chris D'Elia, and I just kind of forgot that guy existed. So I think it's like, yeah, I guess I feel some fatigue sometimes with that, because it's like, okay, obviously, and it's also not that much of a surprise to me that person, I don't know that much about him, right, as a comedian or like cultural presence, but it's like, sure, that seems to add up. And I guess it's like, I don't feel like I have the emotional space to like remedy his situation, or like, I think it's important that these other conversations are coming to surface that have before. And I guess my, like, maybe to take a step back, my broader observation is that like discussions surrounding misogyny and sexism in comedy seem to be coming out of a domino effect that are also evolving out of like conversations about racism in Hollywood or whatever. So it's all important. I just feel like even as a woman in comedy, it's taking me a second to catch up.
I feel you. I mean, it's one of those things where when quarantine started, I felt like I hope people use this time productively if they can. And I thought I meant like clean their apartment. But like, if we're gonna fight racism and misogyny, like, yeah, that's a very good use of the time. All for it.
Yeah.
It's my apartment.
Yes, I think it's cool to see shows figure out how to respond to that. I don't know. I don't think it's like these are new issues, so of course it's valuable that they're coming more to like to fore, whether it's through Twitter. And I actually confess something that I don't think I was ever like I feel like I never like I struggled to get that into Twitter, and then now because of these conversations, like the zeitgeist is so much centered around Twitter and these like quickly evolving conversations, and like I like pinpointing people or experiences in media that have been problematic. So I think I'm just like, I don't know, it's probably emotionally very damaging, but I've been like way more glued to Twitter because of this like recent surge of Me Too discussion.
No, but you're totally entitled to that. And Carmen, anything you want to say? Anthony as well.
No, I agree.
No, and nobody's obligated, by the way. We can talk about cats all you want, I swear.
I know. And I don't. Yeah, again, I also don't know those three comedians almost at all. Yeah, I like my social circle for a reason. You know, they're not getting in trouble because they're not doing these things. So I'm just like, oh, that's kind of over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I obviously do want to. Yeah, it's important. I guess I'm not. People can multitask and everything too. I think that's important. I don't want it to become another thing that detracts from Black Lives Matter, though. You know, it feels like stuff will just kind of. They're just like, and this, and it's like, but focus.
Yeah. Totally.
That's all. But I think people can multitask.
The way I feel about it, I don't know like the whole Joe Rogan situation. I know about the other two, but
I think Joe Rogan is his own situation.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm surprised. Like, what? I know people were angry with him about the wearing the mask thing, but I don't know what else people were angry at him about. But with
a lot. I think it's a very long list. I think if I had a visual gag, I would take a piece of paper and it would scroll to the floor.
Well, then, like, with
he also just signed a deal for $100 million, so he's doing fine.
With cancel culture, I used to be against it as far as like just people feeling sensitive, but then I had to take myself out of the performer shoes and just look at it as like just a fan as a person. It's like if somebody is being offensive to me or like exhibiting offensive behavior, then why should I have to like spend my money with them? So I think like people should be able to cancel whoever they want. And I've always been against like canceling a person if they're like just joking out of like, or if it's the intent of joking, but it's a bad joke. But when they start to exhibit and just like wrong behavior, I can't defend that at all.
Jokes and actions are very different. I think you're right on. And for the sake of keeping things light, we can shift slightly because we're talking about catching up on things we should have caught up on. Talking about race, a lot of companies are finally making the changes I think we've all been asking for a very long time. Two of the things that I went to Disney last year, and I don't know why it was this last time going to Disney, but I was on Splash Mountain, and I was like, why is there still a ride based on Song of the South? A very racist movie, and one that Disney doesn't even release. It's very hard to find a copy of Song of the South because they know how problematic it is. But finally, this week, we have an announcement. It is no longer going to be Splash Mountain. Princess Tiana is taking it over. It's going to be New Orleans themed, Princess and the Frog. They claim they've been working on this for years. I don't know if that's the truth. But are you guys happy about Splash Mountain finally getting rid of this weird slavery motif?
I have a lot of thoughts about this. I don't know about you guys. Or I don't know.
No, Brittany, go for it.
Sure. Well, so my thoughts are more like I have a very intense nostalgic tie to like Disney parks and Splash Mountain. So I grew up in Tokyo, and Tokyo Disneyland is like not far from just like downtown, like central Tokyo. So I went from when I was little, and I've like very like the Splash Mountain ride is like the Tokyo version, which I think is basically identical to the American ones, except that some aspects of it are just it's just like recorded
It's
Japanese.
good to have a problematic ride and then double down by directly replicating it all around the world.
Yeah. So here's the difference. Okay. So like, I know that's so interesting, right? So I think what's interesting right now is that I immediately thought of Splash Mountain and Tokyo Disneyland, and I'm like, that's so funny that this like historical context that's so alien to any like element of Japanese culture and society is going to it's like going to change the ride that's so popular in the Japanese park. And I'm assuming that Tokyo Disneyland, I'm assuming globally all Disney parks have to change it, right? Like,
well, right now the only announced parks, they're just doing the California and Florida one.
Okay.
Don't shut down because those are two states are rising cases. Here's some artwork.
That looks gorgeous, and I really love Princess and the Frog, and I really like like Tiana and like that conversation about whatever Disney princess inclusivity, even though she's a frog for most of it. So my point about all of this, which is
good
funny,
point,
is like I just don't even think I really thought about, because it was such a like literally like regionally or culturally displaced experience, like not South Park. Splash Mountain in a Disney park in just Japan. like I riding Splash Mountain, I wasn't thinking really about the connotations that come with like songs in the South, right? But then I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they added Johnny Depp to Pirates of the Caribbean, which is really funny because the other like animatronic pirates are like from literally the 80s, and then there's Johnny Depp, who is much more fluid and recent. So they can do it. Why not reframe it? Also, why not like create a space for that particular princess in a Disney park? But what's really interesting is that
in Pirates of the Caribbean, they did pull out. There were some scenes where male pirates were chasing wenches.
It's like Me Too-y.
And they reversed it, so now the women are chasing the men.
Yes, I forgot about that. That is like, I noticed that. Yes. And so, sure, like I saw something headline today about it that was like, nostalgia isn't more important than like positive growth. And yeah, I feel that. What's funny is I had a conversation with my mom yesterday on the phone about this specifically, and she was like, she seemed to be like, she was like, oh, I see. Like she wasn't that thrilled.
But I like the rabbit.
I'm not kidding. That was like the tone of her. She was like, oh, I mean, I just have fond memories of that. But I was, I don't know. Like, that's a whole other conversation. So I think it's interesting. I'm curious to see I guess my long story short is I'm curious to see whether that change or that conversation plays out in Disney parks, like in the one in France or China or whatever.
I think they should redo It's a Small World it's a slightly larger world, because obesity is a terrible epidemic.
Yeah. Also, globalization is like a root source of COVID-19 spread. So that's like something maybe that they should consider in
little dolls from all around the world slowly get coronavirus. That's a very dark take on It's a Small World. Carmen, have you been to New Orleans?
No, I would love to go. I've never been to Disney. I'm
what?
Yeah, when I saw Splash Mountain in the news, that they was being taken down. It didn't say specifically what yet, and I was like, is that like a sex ride? It's like, what is wrong? Like, what is it that was wrong with it? Because I had no idea what the ride was. So it's just like Splash Mountain. Is it like too jizzy or something? Like that was my first thought.
Honestly, I'm such a Disney fan. If a girl would refer to her parts as Splash Mountain, I would be into it.
I was like, is it too sexy? And then I read it and I was like, oh, that makes more sense. Yeah, I'm a state fair girl. I say bring more rickety, shitty rides that can burn down in a second.
I prefer a girl who calls her lady part Splash Mountain to one who calls it Space Mountain. I'll tell you that.
That's really.
Anthony, have you been to Disney?
Yeah, I've been to Disney, but this was like when I was about 13. So yeah, this was like the summer, my summer from the 8th grade going into high school. So I've ridden Splash Mountain, but I didn't know the story behind it, especially like that young. That was the last thing I was thinking about. So when they announced that they were changing it, like I was surprised. Like I didn't know that whole story behind it. But I know when they thought out Walt Disney, I know he's going to be disappointed and all of this.
Yeah, I think he wanted every ride to involve the Jews dying.
I know. That was also something my mom didn't realize. Like, this was basically the two main themes of my quarantine with my parents is that my mom didn't know. Well, that's a theme. My mom didn't know that Walt Disney was anti-Semitic. And she kind of went through that revelation. She's going through a new one now. But, yeah. Anyway, wait, Harrison, did you grow up in a place that had a Disney? Did you grow up in, where did you grow up?
I grew up in New York, but we did go to Disney in Florida. That was the closest one.
Yeah. Okay.
I am trying to figure out how they're going to justify the waterfall because I've been to New Orleans. I don't think they have a waterfall. So that's
and I know it's pretty flat. It's like Katrina. Okay, but like also.
Oh my God! All of your Disney rides involve horrible tragedies.
I know. But also back like Disney. Okay, well, I mean Disney.
I think you're Winnie the Pooh. I think they redo the Winnie the Pooh Bear ride to be like more like Grizzly Man.
Yeah, that exactly. And by the way, I love the Winnie the Pooh Bear ride. Okay, but like, so in Splash Mountain, it's like I don't know. It just gets kind of scary suddenly, and there's like there's like a bear, and there's bees buzzing, and it's like it's like Dixie's coming to get you. And then I mean, not actually, but it's like really like right. There's just like animals talking, and it's like dark, and then there's like it's like oh, oopsie, where are you? Like beware, what's going on? And then you fall. And I don't know, really gravity, whether figurative or literal, is the scariest part of that ride. So I guess, have you seen Princess and the Frog?
Oh yeah, it's great.
It's great, right? I don't know. The body is flat.
I once went to Disney alone, which is should not be allowed. If you're over a certain age, you shouldn't be allowed alone. People were, first of all, they would always be like, "Oh, like, are you with them?" And I'd be like, "Yes, that's my Asian family. You got me."
Yeah. Well, speaking of Asian families, Japan has this thing where like people go to Disney. There's 2 Disney parks in Japan, and like people go onto them for dates. Like it's like a date place.
I would love that. I have a best friend who was broken up at Disney, and that's got to be the worst. Just those associating those memories with the happiest place on earth seems unfortunate. But we are rounding up. We're almost at the end of the episode. That means it's time for our final segment. We call it the audience Q&A. There it is. We got a graphic for it. Look at that dog. We're going to ask our audience. They get to ask us one question. We have to answer it. Let's start with Caitlin in Texas. You get to ask us one question, and at least a few of us will answer it. Caitlin, what is your audience Q&A question?
Okay, so there was a woman who permanently dyed her skin blue because she's obsessed with the color. So what would it take for you to dye your skin like any color for at least a month?
Wow. I would be honest, did not expect that question. Who would like to take that one?
That had to have been a white woman, right? For sure.
Was she into Smurfs? Was this a Smurf-related decision? Did you like a lot?
Blue.
Maybe she really wanted to be an Avatar by David Cameron, but I guess that is sort of like that movie is like dance. It's like very like indigenous people narrative, right? But they're caught. You know,
how did she dye her skin blue? Is there a technique, or did she just eat a lot of blueberries like Willy Wonka?
I have no idea, but yeah, like she made like some mission. She's like,
she dyed her skin blue.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
I mean, maybe in 40 years, people will be doing that.
You know, she died of suffocation because they didn't know. That was an attempt at a blue joke, guys. Because they turned anyway. It's been a long week. Tammy, what is your question, and does it involve primary colors?
It does not. It does not. My question's actually, I started doing comedy myself maybe about 1.5 years ago. So I'm curious, what advice do you have for someone starting out?
Quit. You're ruining your life.
Yeah.
It's a terrible idea for an occupation, and now none of us have one.
Fair.
Any serious advice, though? I'm sure you guys are all very successful. And if you're not familiar with these comedians, they're three of the best. So, what advice do you have? One piece of advice to a new comedian?
Always tell people early on you don't have to worry about getting as much time as possible. Like, you're just starting out, so you're not going to be doing long sets. You're not going to have to worry about doing 45 to an hour. So just focus on getting a strong 5 to 7, 5 to 10 minutes. And then eventually in killing in those spots, you'll get booked on to doing longer time, doing the 15 to a half hour. So the time will build on its own. Just worry about killing the spots that you get early on.
Advice.
Brittany, what advice do you have for Tammy?
I was told something early on, like when I was a year in, from a woman in DC comedy who I really looked up to, and I think about it a lot. She was like, don't let anyone get into your comedy head. And I still think that leaves room for obviously growth and feedback from people that you feel like get you, like peers, and those whose voice comedically that you respect. But I still really like that idea, as you move forward and also shed layers of older jokes and grow, don't forget what your personal and unique sense of humor is. And if you're to speak concretely, if you're running a bit by somebody and they're like, what? I think just try it, because that's the only way, because you came up with it, right? And it comes from you and only you. So I still like that idea. Don't let people get into your comedy head. I know that's oversimplified, but I still like the essence of that.
I love it. And Carmen,
I've been sitting here scrambling the whole time. Oh my God, this question is always so hard for me. No, I like what Brittany said, especially the just running your bits by people. I was very precious about my stuff early on and wouldn't share it, but I think that's been so helpful, is just having a conversation with other people about it or throwing it out there to them, and then their feedback can really help a lot. And it felt like cheating at first, but I don't think it's cheating. Or if it is good, I'm a cheater.
I think Seinfeld had good advice, which was work tight, eat right, pack light. That's not bad. Very easy to eat a lot of jalapeno poppers, because that's what you'll be paid in for the first 5 years. So get to learn to love the appetizer. And if I had any actual advice, stage time, absolutely. And it's a very simple algorithm of comedy. You do the joke, you listen to the audience's response to that joke, and then you modify that joke based on that data. And if you just do that cycle as much as possible, there's no way not to get really, really funny. So Tammy, thank you so much for joining us from Texas. Best of luck. I hope to have you on the other side of the panel soon. That would be awesome. And last but certainly not least, Andy Man says, I already know Colin is going to have a great question. He comes from Los Gatos, California. Colin, what is your question?
I have a cheerleader in Andy. My question was.
He said, "Yeah, Colin."
Yeah. I was reminded when we talked about Harrison's magic phase, because I remembered I had a magic phase in 8th grade, and I feel like everybody did. And so I was wondering,
joke, right? I want to be a magician when I grow up, and somebody says you can't do both.
So I was wondering if you could share a phase that you went through when you were young that you're embarrassed of now.
I jerked it a lot. Oh man, phases. Anthony Moore looks deep in thought. What is it? What did you go through? A skateboard phase, perhaps, or a Pogs phase? You remember the Pogs?
I went through so many different phases.
Yeah.
Like
Me Baby, perchance.
I went through a wannabe rapper phase.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
You have a rap name?
No name. No name. Like just horrible raps. Let me see if I can find it. I went through a yo-yo phase.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
I
when
was
you thought you couldn't love Anthony more.
Yeah. When I was in grade school, we had these people come and they did like a yo-yo exhibition, and like I was just hooked on yo-yo tricks. So like my little sister, she found out about this and she bought me a yo-yo for like my last birthday. Yeah.
That's amazing. I once walked the dog.
Yeah.
Remember that era?
Yeah, that was the coolest thing you could do was yo-yo.
Yeah.
Now they're
That's-
juuling. Juuling is objectively cooler than yo-yoing.
Who was
We
that
had a-
one yo-yoist that was really popular?
Did you yo-yo, Brittany?
Yeah, I mean not well, but I was like into the fad. 2000, like it was like 1999 ish, right?
Yeah.
99, 98, 98, 99. But there was like one guy that was like the Tony Hawk of yo-yo. Remember that? Who was that guy? No, there was
I'll
There
Google
was
Tony
some-
Hawk of yo-yo.
Yeah, the result will
maybe it
just
was
be
just Tony
why.
Hawk. Anyway, I remember like being really, there was like a brand of a yo-yo that it was like what the kids, it was like the cool one.
The Brain.
And then, what?
I remember the Brain was the expensive one that everybody wanted because it had special bearings that made all the tricks better.
Oh yeah, and like some lit up and stuff. And it really reached like I was in age, like I was at the time when the yo-yo fad hit. We were living in Singapore, and I remember it was like huge there. Like American yo-yo culture was like really big there, and then also it was my cousins in Maryland, so you know, transcultural experience. But yeah, what happened? Nobody cares about yo-yos. It was like really intense for like 8 months.
I did do a show with a yo-yo master. We were on a variety show, and he did do some incredible yo-yoing. So he's made tens of dollars. Carmen, any embarrassing phases in the 90s or beyond?
Oh man, I'm reminded about 3 years ago I went through a dubstep phase. It's too recent. Too recent. Yeah,
Really?
loved. Yes, very into it. Anything.
Did you
Drop.
go to dubstep concerts?
No, just listen to it on my
3
phone.
years ago,
Really, yeah.
not when dubstep was popular.
Did you like the
Yeah,
beat?
no,
dropping?
not when it was popular. Years after. Yeah, 3 years ago.
That was
And
the
that's
key
how I was-
feature, right? Was the
Huh?
beat not dropping and then waiting for it, and then it did drop.
Oh, what a release, you know?
It's like comedy. It's like set up punchline.
Yeah, too old for that. I think I was 32 when I went through my dubstep phase.
Nice. Colin, thank you so much for your question. We will look for your CW show as soon as production resumes in Los Angeles. Thank you so much for tuning in. And a huge thank you to our entire comedy panel. Please follow them on social media. They're all incredible. You should follow Carmen. It's Carmen Lagala on Twitter. Carmstagrams on Instagram. You can follow Brittany. You can follow, there you go, Brittany_Carnage on Instagram. And Anthony Moore is all that and more on both Twitter and Instagram. Guys, thank you so much for joining. So nice to see all of you. I cannot wait till we get to do shows together again. Hopefully soon. Maybe in a backyard. We don't know. Maybe on a roof. Love you guys. Mwah. Stay safe and stay well. And can't wait to have you guys all back on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
anytime.
Harrison.
Thank you, guys. Oh, man, such incredible comedians. Please make sure you follow all of them. A huge thanks to our virtual audience. That's Caitlin. That's Tammy. And, of course, Colin, very popular. Dylan Hellerman saying, yay. I'm just going to say that's a broad yay. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And if you'd like to join the virtual audience, there you go. Just email office@nationallampoon.com. Send us an email and you can be part of this incredible virtual audience. Ask our comedians questions. Thank you guys so much for joining. Stay safe out there in Texas and California. And hopefully we'll have you back in our virtual audience. Yes. Thank you guys so much. And what a show it has been. We've gone from Eels to yo-yos with a side trip to Splash Mountain. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please support Black Lives Matter and the COVID Foundation. Donations can be made. There you go at www.nationallampoon.com/Black Lives Matter. That's Black Lives Matter and a bunch of other great social justice charities. And of course, covid.cm/National Lampoon, doing incredible work providing PPE and medical equipment to communities and people that need them the most all throughout the country. covid.cm/National Lampoon. That has been our 20th episode of National Lampoon Live. Next week is July 4th weekend. July 4th is on a Saturday. This show would fall on July 3rd, so we are taking the week off out of respect for the holiday. So we will not be here next Friday, but we will be there the Friday after. That is July 10th. So we'll see you back here on July 10th. My name is Harrison Greenbaum. You can follow me at Harrison Comedy. That's on Twitter and on Instagram. Please follow me. I'm getting so close to 6,000 followers, and I'm just go do it. Do it for me. I was gonna say the Gipper, but that's Ronald Reagan. You don't want it. You don't need to do it for that. Do it. Yeah. I wore my favorite plant-based t-shirt. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. A huge thank you to Evan, to Brendan, Claudia, Jesse, Paul, of our interns, everybody who makes this show happen, National Lampoon, Emily Murtaugh, my girlfriend, who locks herself in the bedroom during the show so that she doesn't get caught in the background. She's amazing. I love her. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. We'll see you 2 weeks from today, July 10th. This has been National Lampoon Live. I'm your host, Harrison Greenbaum. It's always a joy doing this show for you. Thanks to Dylan, Andy Man, Ryan, everybody who's been tuning in. My dad watched. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Cue the animation. National Lampoon Live with Harrison Greenbaum. I'm singing the theme song, singing it live for you.